and YouTube should connect any minute. There we go. Come on, YouTube. I can't wait till we get our new starting screen next week, because that way I don't have to sit here going, please, YouTube, please throw me a bone. There we go. All right, we're live.
Please.
And I'll put the tweet out now, and then we'll do a quick intro, because everyone should be seeing us. Chat, let us know.
Yes.
Or if you could check on your side as well. Share now. Boom. It should go out if you get gents increasing that.
No.
Yes.
I did tag the right Dom this time. It wasn't your your cousin.
Paris.
No, lovely bloke I hear.
Yeah, just not the guy we want today. This is a different guy.
It annoys me how Twitter does not embed like the video sometimes. Really annoying. Like I've done it 101 different ways, just doesn't do it.
Right. You like that. That's why I started adding the just the picture of like I do the thumbnail picture, because like it's like 50-50. Sometimes it'll expand the video out, and other times it just appears like a link. Which thanks for that, because that's a really great way to get people's attention, let me tell you.
I know. Right, hello everyone. Welcome to Trek Central Live, not weekly. We're not that yet. Give us a week, and we might be back calling ourselves weekly. Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Hello everyone. I'm of course your host, Captain Jack, here on Trek Central Weekly, live, whatever we're calling. We're just changing the name, mind. This is the 24th of January. We're back after. I don't think it was here last week, was we, Nick? No, we took a week off. Yeah, last week or not? I can't remember. Yeah, we did take the week off. We treated ourselves, even though I think there was some stuff to discuss. But it feels like all the news has come out this week. So we'll be discussing a lot in this stream, getting your input and discussion as well. Do let us know if you can hear us all okay. Testing some new audio equipment today would be much appreciated. So, of course, we're going to be discussing Picard, Discovery, Prodigy, Lower Decks, all of that. Any of your questions as well. But first, let me introduce my co-host. Of course, I'm joined by Commander Dom, who's back from what feels like a very long vacation. How are you doing, Dom?
I'm doing well. Yes, I haven't been on for a couple of weeks, but glad to be back. Glad to talk about all these new seasons. Nick, don't shake your head at me. And yeah, looking forward to whatever we talk about today.
Very nice. And of course, I'm joined by my resident co-host, Mr. Ketwolski, aka Nick. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad that we were here together, Jack and I, holding down the fort in the absence of with the great Dom, who's now decided to grace us with his presence. No, I'm kidding. It's great to have Dom back here, and I'm super excited to get into the discussion today. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about, so it's going to be good. Sounds
good to me. You know, Dom still hasn't sent me a profile picture for the website just yet.
Yeah, all the pictures tend to be me drinking bottles of wine.
There is a funny one. Like every time you send me a picture now, I've got like a bank of pictures which I tell the whole team about, and I'm not allowed to release publicly. There's you with the Andoinis, you drinking a whole bottle of wine, by the way, literally holding the bottle in the air.
It was Christmas.
Oh, that's the excuse. Oh, good point, actually.
We can Photoshop something else. We can Photoshop a sandwich into your hand.
It's a giant, like one of those Scooby-Doo club sandwiches into it.
Just do it.
That's right.
Romulan ale.
All right, you're fine. You know, I will get Gary, the graphics designer, to do that. You know, professionally done and all. Right. We'll put you on the bridge as well, or do you in the Bernie Sanders meme. That could be a good idea. That'd be hilarious. Thank you to getting to a 9. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I forgot it's been ages since we've seen the YouTube member thing. It's the hell yeah Android from Picard.
Thank you.
Let's have it. Speaking of which, by the way, if we jump into our news and everything, Picard is was it a year old now? Yeah, it came out a year ago.
Yes.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just over a year ago that we were at the premiere in London.
Oh, it feels like time has flown by too quickly in a way.
Crazy. Yep.
It feels like it's gone fast, and also it feels like it was 30 years ago at the same time.
Yes, that is true.
That's 2020. That's 2020 for you. That's what it
I keep seeing these memes around on TikTok and I know you watch it as well, Nick, where it's like, when COVID started, I was 17. Now I'm like 20 or something like that. Now I'm 93. I'm like, it feels that way in a way. It does feel that way. But yeah. Anyway, let's jump into our news, because people are going to get mad at us for derailing the subject in like the first 4 minutes, as we always do. It's kind of like a running trait over here. Before I do jump in to our exciting news and everything else for Star Trek today, we've of course got some great Trek Central announcements. Last week, our website came back online, relaunched, reboosted, you could say, almost like Star Trek. We had a bit of a reboot. But the Trek Central website is now back online. You can head over there for some great articles, information about what we do here on the channel, how you can get involved, where you can find us on other social media websites, and also leading articles from our new team as well. Head over and check it out. It's trekcentral.net. Links are available on social profiles. There might not be one in the video description or live stream description because it's a bit older, but you get my gist anyway. It should be there. Head over and check us out. We've got tons of stuff coming to the site soon. Can't wait to share more with you. And you're going to start seeing a mix between video content, article content, more or less the way I'd like to do it. And we spoke with teams like this, is where articles complement videos and videos complement articles in a way. So you can get the best information about the topics and shows you love. And I think we're all really happy with the website, aren't we? Because you guys got to see it like as I was building it. And I think it's definitely evolved tenfold since the last time we had.
Yes, it looks very nice.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's literally night and day. I mean, the one that we had before looked like we created it with our eyes closed. And
Thanks,
now
Nick.
this one is, yeah. Well, I'm just being honest, okay? But now this one looks like we almost as if we got someone else to do it. That's how it feels. So.
Not sure how to take that, but all right. Gonna go cry myself to sleep.
No, it looks great. It looks great. That's right. We're throwing shade today. It's a shady day.
Well, you are
That's
French.
what we're doing.
He
Don't
started
get
this
loud,
early, like 6 minutes in. He's already throwing shade. But yes, our website's now relaunching. Go check it out. Next week, we'll also be relaunching the whole live stream side of this, so you can see a nice rebranded live stream. So come over here next week at 9 p.m. GMT. Hopefully, we're back with some new graphics. We've all seen them this week. They look really nice. They're fantastic, and I may tease some of you in the middle of the week if you're following us, to say like Instagram or Twitter. But it's going to be very fun. I'm liking it. We also have a new logo this evening, and it looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, looks very nice.
Our new starting screen is going to be good as well. I can't wait to show everyone that, because finally you're going to come to a more professional stream. It's going to be ready to go and good from there. All right, but let's jump into the news today. Gents, Star Trek Picard Season 2 is about to start filming. We've seen Sir Patrick Stewart has finally received his COVID vaccine in LA, I believe. That social media video came around yesterday, and filming is set for February 1st, so about a week or two away now, so it all kicks off. Nick, you've been following this as well. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I mean, so the issue really specifically with the filming is there's a lot riding on what's going on with California in regards to the COVID situation. It has kind of gotten worse over the last couple of weeks, and this week was actually significantly worse in terms of case numbers and deaths for California. So it is possible that they may kick off filming in the next couple of weeks, which is what they're set to be doing, and they may get kind of put on the kibosh. I don't know. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I know that obviously we're focused on Star Trek Picard, but there is dozens and dozens and dozens of productions trying to get started over there on all of these different studios and backlots. Some of them are still able to work, and a lot of people are ready to get back to work, and they really need to get people back to work over there. So I feel like there's going to be a situation where they're going to start making some concessions in order to keep people working, and hopefully that doesn't mean anybody's going to get sick or anything worse than that's going to happen on the set. But I do know that a lot of the shooting for the first season of Picard did take place on a lot of locations, did a lot of location shooting in different areas, both on the lots and in and around California. So they may be working that into the schedule where they're going to be filming away from the city for a good number of weeks, in order to kind of avoid any kind of situations there. So hopefully we'll be able to actually start to see those things happening, and we'll get to see some leaks of photos of people out in the woods, I guess, filming whatever. And hopefully that doesn't derail the production any more than it already has, unfortunately. So hopefully we'll stay on track.
It's going to be interesting to see how that goes, because I know here in the UK, even with the lockdown here in the UK, me and Don were currently part of, filming and set stuff like that is still allowed to go ahead. So that is like something in the UK. I'm surprised California doesn't have it, given the big state of like filming and things goes over Hollywood. Obviously, it's for protection and precaution, etc. It's good to have that. I'm surprised they don't have some. Maybe they do. I don't know too much myself, but hopefully we're going to see it soon. So yeah, I'm excited for it, because Season 2, we don't know where they're going with Season 2, because Season 1 was left on an sort of an open ending in a way after they resolved the data thing. And
it was very much like a Season 0, just like we're setting up all these characters. Now they can just, like, they're a crew, they can go and do things. So I very much view it as like a new start. It's got a new showrunner with what is it, Terry Matalas?
Terry Matalas, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
who tweeted out some things, I think, this week about how, Picard stuff, cool. But it was that big. So yeah, really looking forward to where they go.
I think that there's a couple of ideas I think that they could pick up on. I think one of the things that we'll probably see more of, because they've talked about it trying to be more Adventure of the Week, and I think one of the areas they could play a lot in is the new Romulan DMZ zone, where all these Romulan colonies are there. And what I'd like to possibly see is maybe some of the seeds being placed and kind of picking up the torch from Ambassador Spock, where Picard attempts to start the reunification process of the Romulans back onto Vulcan and maybe start the seeding plants of what would eventually become Navarre. I think that would be kind of fun to see some of that.
And definitely a good way to link it to what we saw in season 3 of Discovery.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like that idea. That could be really cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think we know when they moved there, do we? We don't. Did they talk about how long they've been there for?
They said it started and then it took, I think, a couple of centuries. So it could start to happen, but from what I took from that scene, that episode, it probably takes place in like 100 years after Picard. Like we could definitely see, more diplomatic ties. The current Romulan government is called the Romulan Free States. We can see how that is organized. Is it more just like separate states organized different ways? Could they, go and be helped by the Vulcans? Who knows?
I think so. I think they're going to lean into the Romulan. I think that's because that's some of the stuff they set up, right? We have the Fenris Rangers that they set up. They set up these warlords that are running around in the Romulan DMZ, and they set up the Romulan Free States. And I think they set a couple of these things up that they can definitely expand upon more in the second season. That's what I hope so, at least, because I want to know more about what's going on there. I think we didn't get enough of that. We were too busy focused on the android stuff.
I almost feel like Picard is a bit of like a trilogy in a way, where season 1 is the setup, season 2 is maybe like a bigger story in a way, then season 3 might be a wind down essentially in a way of a conclusion. Because if we know it's like a smaller season or smaller series to begin with, that's always been sort of hinted around and told to us.
And they did float around the idea of it being 3 seasons, so it could definitely go like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I think it's pretty interesting as well. Quickly, thank you to Philip Van Holkenbeek. I hope I pronounced your name there, or terribly, I do apologize. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member and supporting the channel. We do really appreciate it. Yes, Vulcan salutes to all. I can't really fit it in here. Don't you give me a sarcastic Vulcan salute, Mr. Ketwolski. Speaking of which, Star Trek Lower Decks is now available on Amazon Prime internationally. If you've not checked it out yet, that was a good segue. Go check it out now. It's available on Amazon Prime in most major countries. If not, it's on CBS All Access or Crave/CTV Sci-Fi over in Canada. You can check online where you can find it for your specific country. But for Amazon Prime, it's definitely on the UK and the EU, etc. If you're in Japan, there may be a different way to get it. We did put a tweet out of this earlier. Thanks to our friends over at Trek Movie who spotted that one. You can go check it out on our Twitter. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Lower Decks. Dom, have you rewatched any of it or seen any of it? Because
I have.
Oh, you have. Good.
I watched a couple of episodes with a friend because now it's on. I don't have to VPN into America to watch it.
Shh, but trade secrets. Shh.
But yeah, just going on Amazon Prime. Yeah. Lower Decks 3, I'm sure I could probably watch it all in like an evening because it's just like half an hour, really.
Yeah.
Easily digestible chunks. Yeah.
We've got to know where to go, so might as well binge something.
Yeah. I mean, I recently it's Lower Decks has started to get into my repertoire of animated shows that I put on in the background while I'm doing other things. So it's kind of sandwiched in between Rick and Morty and South Park, where I kind of just also throw on an episode of Lower Decks. I think the only downside is the fact that there's such a small number of episodes, so they need to keep making more of them, so we have more to fucking binge through, in the future. But yeah, also quick note on the availability of international stuff. I know there's a lot of confusion out there right now because a lot of things are in flux. Because also Paramount Plus is certainly a thing. It's kind of a thing right now, but it'll officially be a big thing on the 4th of March, which will then, begin to expand outwards into different markets internationally as well. I know that they've changed all of the CBS All Access YouTube channels.
Have they now?
Being Paramount Plus. Yeah, they've changed it. They changed the logos. They changed the names. They've changed it all. I noticed that the other day because I went back to grab a trailer for some footage for one of the, the Picard first season trailer actually, and it brought up a Paramount Plus YouTube channel, and it's no longer the CBS All Access one. So they have made some changes for sure. So that's coming as well, and I'm sure that's going to be even more tricky as to what's going on there, as to what shows are going to be where and who's paying for what, and where Discovery season 4 is going to land up, and Picard season 2, and there's a lot of stuff in flux, and I would say that we don't really know for sure because they probably don't know for sure. So we'll have to we'll keep everybody posted though as we figure it out.
It's something I think we're looking to, and we've had a discussion for a while now and what will happen between where things will go essentially, because we know from an outside looking in, it seems like Netflix weren't too fussed with Discovery season 3 because there was no promotional material hardly anything really in the grand scheme of things from Netflix promoting Discovery Season 3. And we have theorized for a while now whether the licensing agreement is up, and I think it might be in a way. 3 seasons, that could sound like a good deal, or it's been stripped away from Netflix in favor of bringing it to Viacom CBS, because I easily predict by the end of the year, then, you know, that they'll have it properly. Yeah. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I mean, it all depends, though, you know, too, because it's a situation too where it's like, you know, some site, like the money that people pay for these distribution deals for exclusive Star Trek content. I mean, you know, you can get into people's feelings about it and the fan reaction and stuff like that. The bottom line is these companies still want to pay a lot of money in order to be able to stream exclusive rights to Star Trek. So Paramount or Viacom CBS really may look at a situation like what happened, I think, with Lower Decks, which is like, you know, Amazon probably paid a big chunk of change in order to be able to exclusively distribute the first season internationally in those markets. So they're going to take that money and hopefully pump it back into the show and give us a 3rd or 4th season. So they got to kind of balance it out there. And it may seem annoying to us as the consumers, but on the back end, it'll help us get more seasons and more shows. So in 4 years from now, when everything's all said and done and they put it all in all the markets, we'll be able to binge more shows later. But it is kind of a mess right now, for sure.
I mean, we said this about Picard to begin with when it was announced it was going to Amazon Prime Video. I'll always stand by the idea. From a business point of view, I feel like them partnering with Amazon Prime was a very smart idea, because Amazon not only offer a fantastic video service, they also have the facilities to do merchandise, which CBS has taken advantage of. Because if I want to go buy a Star Trek Picard t-shirt, I can do on Amazon. I can have it in next day. I think if I order now, I probably can actually get it by 10 p.m. tomorrow, which is really interesting, you know, in this day and age, especially with all in our houses as well around the world. So, you know, and if, say, Amazon came along, like, okay, cool, we'll pay you, you know, X millions or billions of dollars for Strange New Worlds International. If I was Viacom CBS, I'd go, you know what? Maybe, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, because that's a guaranteed, like, 10 billion or whatever the stupid amount of money is up front.
$10 billion.
$1 million.
$1 million, yeah.
But it's like that guaranteed money, because, like, if you do it on a subscription basis, how are you going to guarantee those sales? However, if you've got Jeff Bezos over here, like, you know, writing in his checkbook as we speak, you know, it's a no-brainer really of what decision to take. Obviously, it comes down to streamers and how they want to pursue their business model. Disney knew they could sustain themselves with Disney Plus because they had an entire big catalog. However, their catalogs, I'd say, a lot more bigger, maybe enticing than, say, Viacom CBS's catalog. Personally, myself, what else do I watch that's actually on Viacom CBS or Paramount Plus? What else am I going to watch on there? I know Star Trek. What else is actually on Paramount for me to watch? I can't think of anything.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of...
I suppose when I see the catalog, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the Paramount movie catalog is now added, is now going to be
good, yeah. So that's quite a lot.
Entirety. And then, of course, the Nickelodeon stuff, they're looking to start pumping the Nickelodeon stuff on there, too. So it is one of the competitive ones. I was just reading an article the other day. I don't know if we all saw the same thing that I saw. Maybe we did, but it had like a listing of like the top 5 ones that have grown in the last like 6 months or whatever in terms of streaming services. And CBS All Access / Paramount Plus was in the top 5 in terms of growth that has gone through. I think it was like Disney Plus, Apple, HBO Max, and it was Paramount Plus at the bottom there. So it is increasing and people are getting more interested. And I think now that it's going to be, you know, potentially one of the license holders for the distribution for these specific Star Trek shows, if they don't renew it with Netflix, for instance, for Discovery, it's definitely just going to continue to beef up their subscribers. So yeah, they got to be smart about it, but it's annoying for us as viewers. But like I said, it's going to help us as Trekkies in the long term, because the money that they're making from these distribution deals is going to pump back into the shows, which is good, which is what we want. That's what we want.
Odd. I thought stream cut over for a second, but no, YouTube's having it. That was odd.
Oh, sorry.
It just said no audio. I was like, what? Okay. Stream chat, please let us know if there's any issues. It seems YouTube's dashboard is being very laggy this evening. The whole internet's having a connection issue this evening, apparently. But I totally get. I
don't know what the deal is. Yeah.
I totally get what you say there. And I say it does make sense. And I think once we explore Paramount Plus and once it becomes accessible to the rest of the world, I'll say, Nick, you get it over there. We tweeted out the dates the other day. It's March. What is it? March something again, isn't it?
March 4th.
March 4th, there you go. It's 21st for Latin America, I think, isn't it? Or something like that, or another set of countries. But you can find us on our website. All the information's out there. But it's March 4th, so you can check out the catalog, tell us what we can see, etc. from there on. Someone in the chat, so Tim Joan, Jerome, who's just become a YouTube member, thank you very much. Your question, which service do you think Prodigy will be on? Good question. This is a Nickelodeon show, so it'll be on Nickelodeon. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, Nickelodeon's being bundled into Paramount Plus, correct? So
Yes.
it's going to be on Paramount
Okay.
Plus anyway. So if you subscribe to Paramount Plus, you will have access to that show through there, which makes sense, really.
Yeah, it makes sense.
does. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do like a Disney Plus Hulu maneuver where they're like, we're gonna make you pay a little extra and you can get access to all the Hulu stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna do that with Nickelodeon, and they're gonna be like, we'll give you some Nickelodeon, but if you want all of Nickelodeon, you pay us a few extra pennies, and then
Yeah.
you get access to all of it. I don't know if they're gonna do that yet. I don't think we're gonna know until, obviously, like you said, until we see the catalog on March 4th, and we can actually really dig into what it is that we're looking at. But I think you guys are right to say it's likely gonna be on Paramount Plus, because that'll be potentially, that depending on when it actually airs, it could potentially be the first Star Trek show that would release exclusively through this Paramount Plus construct. So them excluding that one, it could be a little dicey. And there's also no proving ground for it. Lower Decks already was able to prove itself, which is why they were able to negotiate probably a good price for the distribution deals. But Prodigy is a brand new show that nobody even knows if people actually want to watch. So they may not get the kind of cash offer that they're looking for. So they may just release it through the Paramount Plus.
Which makes sense. I just saw someone put in the chat there, this will be remembered on the Trek law as the distribution wars. Yes and no in a way. I have a feeling if we used to have this conversation in a year or two's time, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of stuff was recalled essentially to Paramount Plus. That makes sense. Disney have done a similar thing in launching Disney Plus. The reason why Disney Plus's launch was staggered was because in existing content markets like the UK, other distributors had access to Star Wars. So I believe Sky here in the UK, which is a TV service and broadband service, had access to stream the Star Wars films, and I believe elements of the Clone Wars. Therefore, Disney couldn't launch in the UK up until, I think it was March, wasn't it, Dom? Something like that?
Yeah, sometime around now.
Yeah, it was sometime in 2020 like that. I think it was just as the Clone Wars aired. So they couldn't do that up until then. So I have a feeling Paramount Plus is in the same boat, realistically. They're unlikely to launch in the UK until some of the major licensing deals have run out. In which case, I'm feeling that might be one of Amazon Prime in a way of Star Trek Picard, and therefore the Lower Decks one might be a limited time only, essentially. Especially until its season 2 drops, which we don't know when. It could be limited time. They only sometimes sign for limited deals. And I have a feeling once all these licensing has gone out, they'll either choose to renew them, or they'll recall it all to Paramount Plus, because people want to watch these shows, and I think it's proven that people are watching the new Star Trek shows in a minute, and people want them. By the way, viewing figures are fine. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, just putting it out there. People are going to subscribe and watch it at the end of the day, and it's literally something, we're going to chat about Discovery in a minute, but one thing I've been seeing a lot of recently, and you guys have seen it on Twitter as well, is people like hardcore denying that Discovery is not in production, and I can't help just sit back and laugh at the fact we see actors and actresses tweeting their on-set, etc. And also it's in several catalogs for productions, and it's been in production since November. I'm like
literally,
hilarious.
Anthony Rapp live tweets the D&D game that they're running after shooting that they do every so often. Like, he's live tweeting during it, which is what they do after they're done rolling for the day. It's like, use your brains. They're there. They are filming. It's absolutely happening. People who are suggesting otherwise are literally just doing that for your views. So don't click on any articles or videos that say that. It's all crap.
Before we jump into the season 4 discussion of Discoveries, we've got some else covering out. Dom, could you touch on the new Star Trek Picard book? This is one I picked up as well and have on my shelf. It's got a Dark Veil, isn't it?
I don't have it yet.
Look
at it. Bring it closer to the camera.
Show us the camera, because I can't get one off a shelf.
Oh.
It looks great. Jonathan Frakes, what a man.
You can see that's the Discovery chair right there.
Yes, you can actually.
Whoops. Yeah. The Titan has the Discovery chair. Yeah, I'm not all the way through it, but I am very much enjoying it so far. It's, the adventures of William Riker on the Titan. What's not to love?
And it's technically Trek canon as well, in a way, because obviously the new books are a bit like the newer canon of the stuff, because they fit in the shows. So, tell us about that.
The previous, we've had Titan books before, and it's nice to see some of that stuff get carried on into this new novel. We've got Christine Vale, who was the first officer in those Titan books, and is still the first officer in this book. So it'd be interesting to see if this links into Picard Season 2, maybe, because we did get some linkage of the first one, The Last Best Hope, by Una McCormack. And yeah, it's just really good book, and it's nice to see, just read about Thaddeus Riker, because he's unfortunately dead by the time of Star Trek Picard.
Don't bring it up. Just don't.
I have to.
Don't bring it up.
My heart can't take any more.
Nice to see how he's viewed on the Titan as like this language prodigy. And there was also a really nice tweet, I think, put out by Michael Chabon, who was the showrunner for the first season of Picard, with some little like lore of Thaddeus Riker and the worlds he created and the languages he created, and how the actual crew of the Titan started to pick up some of that language and used it on the ship, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and hopefully when I'm finished, we can have an actual like review or something. But yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good. Hopefully we're going to get a review of it, or at least a breakdown of it, because Riker Titan Adventures is something we've been wanting for a while now. I also have the old books as well, like Beneath the Raptor's Wing, I believe it's called, and stuff like that. Very good books. We'll always recommend reading them if you get the chances, even though they're technically not Trek canon at the minute, because that's a convoluted thing. Still recommend giving a read, as they are some of the best books. And Dom, who is this book written? Is it James Swallow or?
This is James Swallow.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Who has written, I think, the Saru novel.
Oh, very nice.
For the Discovery Times, which was pretty good as well. So yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm going to throw out there that there's probably going to be a good chance that some of the stuff that's in that book, I haven't read it yet, that may potentially tie into Lower Deck season 2.
I was about to say
Mike
that.
McMahon, has talked about there's still going to be a significant amount of Titan happening in the second season with Boimler running around there. And when I one of the things that that may come up, I hope is like maybe Thaddeus may make an actual appearance. That would be kind of crazy, because he would be, well, maybe not an appearance. Maybe she'll be. Maybe Troy will be pregnant at the time.
That would be,
I don't know.
The only one.
I can see a whole episode about that just straight away.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. I hope that we get to see some of those elements that you were just talking about, like the first officer and stuff. Maybe actually get a kind of on-screen canon appearance as well.
If we get Christine Vale in Lower Decks, I will name my firstborn Mike McMahon.
Let's got that on record, everyone. All right, someone clip that.
Just tweet that to him. I'm gonna send that to him right after we're done.
Look forward to being here in like
legally binding now.
End of 20 years when Dom has a kid, Yeah,
that's a while in the future. I don't need to worry about
that. Yeah. That's good.
At your wedding, how much do I have to give to anyone for you to wear the Andorian antlers?
That's you have to ask future me. I don't know.
That's a problem for future Dom.
Yeah,
somebody reminded. Speaking of which, while on a tangent, somebody asked me this week. I think it was on our Picard news video. They said, "Jack, as your captain, what would your phrase be? Because Burnham's got "Let's fly," Pike's got "Hit it," someone else got "Execute, engage." I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, Riker's jazz one. I was like, give me a warp and a factor. I can't click my fingers, but yeah, I love honestly that ending to Lower Decks is fantastic. I don't know what. I was trying to think. Execute's a good one, but that's taken by the weird captain and Is it Captain? What's he called again? One in Star Trek 3 was such Spock.
The one with the stick.
Yeah, the stick.
Yeah.
Which how can it be a yellow alert in space dark?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when he was cleaning his fingernails. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a really weird name. I can't remember what he's called now. Chat. Does anybody know here? I don't know. I honestly can't remember.
I think is what it is.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
He was called Captain something. I don't know. Tight ass.
You should go with
Captain Styles.
That's the one. That just sounds like a tight ass name, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Captain Tight Ass is what his name is for real. You should go with Warp Me. Why not do that?
I think I said that in one of the videos last week.
Yeah. Warp Me. Yeah, I think that's the best.
Trek Central intro rolls. When Riker and Troy get on stage and they reenact the TNG theme, they do it quite often. Also, Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis, when they're together, they sometimes do the theme. That could be the TC intro. It's like, Warp Me. Dun, da, 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 da.
We could do it a cappella. I think that's probably for the best.
That is our ending music for Trek Central Weekly next week. We should just do that. And thanks for listening. We just will start. The guest has to join in as well.
Yes.
You can always do Faith for Harv, yeah. Sorry, chat, went off a bit of a tangent there. It was quite funny. But let's talk about Discovery Season 4. As we've had plenty of discussions about that. Dom, you weren't here when we discussed the ending of it because you were being drunk on wine as per usual, honestly. But, we've got Season 4 now. It's upcoming. We know it's in production. It's on the production listings, if you know where to fucking look. So don't believe anything. It's not in production. It's definitely in production. But yeah, yes. Discovery. Nick, you've been covering Discovery Season 4 as well and talking about it. Take us away with what you know so far and, where we are with it.
Yeah, so from what we understand as of right now, the production title has changed to Mill Street instead of Green Harvest. Why they did that kind of is unknown, really, the real reasons for it. We have our own theories, but it's whatever. It has been in production for quite a while right now. I think that they took a little bit off for the holiday break, and then they got all of the folks back on schedule. From what I understand, Doug Jones has just arrived in the last week or so to begin actually shooting his scenes. So they have done some shooting involved with Star Trek Discovery Season 4 that did not involve him. Now, typically with Discovery, from what we understand, is they'd like to shoot the episodes kind of in order, and they usually do them in 2 to 3 week blocks. But what I will say, that does not mean that Doug Jones is not in the first few episodes. And the reason for that primarily is with the COVID restrictions and guidelines and things like that in place, they could be shuffling the sequences and how they're filming things around much more as opposed to they have done in the past. So they could be trying to work around certain restrictions. So I imagine the shooting schedule for this season is wild. So they're probably bringing in people like when they really, really need them to be there. We don't really know too much about what Doug Jones is going to be doing with his character of Saru. Obviously, there's a lot of changes there, but we are in full swing. From what we understand, all the episodes are written, all the sets are constructed, and they are filming, and they are going full steam ahead. And hopefully they will be able to produce the 4th season post-production sense faster than they did with the 3rd season, because they should already have the procedures in place for people working remotely and trying to get things done in that regard. So yeah, hopefully there won't be much of a delay as we had back in 2020 for the 3rd season. Hopefully they'll be able to get it out much quicker, and I'm hoping for a later on this year we'll see season 4 of Discovery. I weirdly feel like we're going to see Discovery back first because it's the one that's been shooting the longest and the one that's going to enter in post-production first. So I feel like we're going to get potentially, Discovery, and then they're going to load balance Picard and Strange New Worlds, and they're going to kind of push that whole thing again where we're going to have another 30 or 40 weeks straight of Star Trek or something like that, probably going from 2021 into 22.
I think
that's what I think. That's what I think.
2 points there. One, I think the reason they're filming scenes apart is Discovery's using this new technology which The Mandalorian uses over via Disney Plus, which is this virtual screen wall. It's basically LEDs, etc., and panels. You can research it. It's a great bit of kit. Discovery's using that. However, it wasn't finished until early January, so now likely we're taking advantage of that, and any episodes which needed that are likely being filmed now. Potentially why Doug Jones is now being brought in, because if he has got parts for first couple episodes, if he's on Kamaran away, they could be using that virtual screen wall. And we covered this in our video on Discovery Season 4. You can check it out here on the channel. This virtual screen technology is actually fantastic. Not only is it really cool for us techies, it also makes sense practically under COVID guidelines. You're not having to track halfway across the world to Iceland or wherever you need to go to film interesting sets. You can do it in studio, in these virtual walls, and it looks just as good. Watch The Mandalorian, you will honestly think it's an actual set. You really aren't going to tell the difference, which I think is fantastic. And if Discovery using it as well, not only does it make it safer for our cast and crew, which is, everyone's primary concern, also makes it a little bit cheaper as well, and also means it can get done a little bit faster. So especially in these times now where production schedules are a little bit up in the air if lockdowns occur, etc., it does make life a little bit easier. There was a screen wall being built. It should now be finished, providing everyone on time. So likely Discovery Season 4 is taking advantage of that, and I predict Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which we'll talk about in a minute, will also take advantage of it. Because you think having that is a really cool piece of kit. You can build your set for the bridge and everything, but when you want to beam down, you essentially can do Planet of a Week on a lot of a cheaper budget, essentially. You're not having to track out to the Queen's Walks or however it's pronounced, to go film there for Alien of a Week, are you? So it's a really cool idea, and I just wanted to mention that. On to the other point, though, about when we'll see it. I think we'll see Discovery Season 4 at the later stage of this year, potentially not launching either like November or December. I don't think October might be kind of close, because they're due to end in June. Is it June, I think? I think that's when they're due to end.
Yes, they're due to end kind of summer time frame. But again, that could be... Everything is still in such a flux because of COVID and stuff like that it could be sooner or it could be later. So yeah, who knows? But so I agree. I think the end of this year, November timeframe is probably a good guess. I think. And
if this all goes to line, I have a thought. Whatever. Basically, Discovery will go into January 2022, which is scary to think about, and then Picard will likely kick off, because if Picard goes in production next week in February 1st, that will likely end before June as well, as it's a shorter season, and likely they're going to keep things a bit small, I'd imagine. So therefore, while Discovery's in post-production, Picard can also be in post-production for a bit longer time, meaning we can get another like 20 weeks or something like that of Star Trek, or 22 weeks. So as soon as Discovery ends, they could launch Picard, or they could stagger it slightly so it launches a bit further. So we'll likely see Picard in Q1 or Q2 of next year, and then I imagine we'll see Strange New Worlds in Q3 or Q4. Perfect time to launch if we're coming out of lockdown, etc., and things look better. Or hopefully by 2022 we'll be able to go to events again and in-person premieres, etc. That could be very fun because Strange New Worlds is due to kick off filming as well in the next week or two, as we've been seeing elements of that, and we're discussing Strange New Worlds in a minute. But yeah, that's what I have to think on that. Dom, do you have any thoughts on Discovery Season 4?
Not much that hasn't been said really.
Fair enough.
Just looking forward to it. I definitely can see it coming out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Possibly getting, like what Nick said, 30 to 40 weeks of Solid Trek is. I don't want to think. Well, I do want to
Yikes.
think about it, but also that's a lot for us to cover.
I will be taking my holiday now.
It is a lot for us. It is a lot to cover, but I mean, it's great though. I mean, we can complain all we want, but we love it. We love it. We're gonna freaking do it.
Honestly, it's a minute because like nothing's on air. As soon as like Discovery finished, when Mando finished, I've got The Expanse to watch now. But as soon as The Expanse goes off TV, I'm sat and going, I've got nothing to do. I don't review The Expanse, but I do get up and watch it at a ridiculous o'clock. I'm like, I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left to do in my life. What am I going to do? I'm going to rewatch Stargate Alliance for the 50th time, which I am actually doing.
Listen, you should start making reviews about Godzilla, okay? Like the rest of us.
Yeah, the rest of us have jumped ship. How's the new channel going, by the way? Because people don't know, you've had a bit of a remake for the channel, haven't you? A bit of a rebrand. We've been discussing this for a couple of weeks now. But tell us, how's it going over there?
It's going good, you know. It's been fun. I've recently started to watch more shows and films that I normally haven't watched. I've just started to dig through Raised by Wolves and stuff like that, and starting to figure out how to redo the content. But yeah, it's been good. I've been enjoying it quite a bit, and it is weird. I will say, I still find it weird to hear myself talk about things that aren't Star Trek, because I've been doing Star Trek for years now, and it's like weird to talk about, like, I don't know, kaijus fighting each other. But yeah, so it's interesting, but it's good. It's good.
Fantastic. Sure. I'm sure we're going to look at some more stuff soon. And well, you announced it on your channel as well, so we can announce it here. The Earl Grey pour-up is making a transition over here now, isn't it? So I think we're excited to launch that soon, and we may be having one either this week or next week, because we've got a lot of news to process currently.
Yes.
So that could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get the Earl Grey pour-up. And in fact, there's been so many like little tidbits of news kind of just recently over the last couple of weeks, and I feel like that's going to continue for the next several months as we wait for whatever show is going to come out next. So yeah, I'm super excited to get the Earl Grey pour-up spun up on the TC channel and start injecting some videos covering the news bits. So that's going to be fun for sure.
It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see it launch on the channel as well, because it's more content we're bringing to the TC audience. Hopefully everyone in the chat you appreciate it as well, because we're really making this brand and channel into a more community thing where you guys can get involved, and also we can showcase this fantastic content with hosts like Nick as well, who've done a fantastic job on their own channel, coming over here to be even more annoying. No, I'm joking. But yes, we've got a lot of stuff coming soon. I just see something in chat there where someone says Ketwolski's everywhere on YouTube. True, he is. I tuned in somewhere yesterday and he was on someone's live stream, so I was like, how's he doing over here?
Where aren't I? Bum bum bum. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm all over the place, man. I'm everywhere, but that's okay. That's all part of it. So
working 101.
That's great.
Anyway, let's talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, as that is our next big series in the Star Trek universe. Obviously, we've got Prodigy, we'll talk about in a minute. We've got Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which of course starring Anson Mount as Captain Christopher Pike, Rebecca Romaine as Number One, and Ethan Peck as Mr. Spock, essentially. And we also recently learned that it looks like Samora Smallwood, who played Lieutenant Amin, might be back for Strange New Worlds. I don't think it's official just yet, but she was on set in Canada, I believe, wasn't it? She's great to be back. It's at Pinewood, I believe. So I'd say... likely that is.
That's official. She's back. She's back. She's 100% back.
And it makes sense. I'm glad they've got her back as well, because she was one, like, a lot of fans connected with her in a way. I hope we also see Amrit Kaur back as Lieutenant Fyra Sadu. Exactly, because I had the pleasure of interviewing her last year, which really was fantastic, and I'd love to see her back as the engineer, or engineering inside of Enterprise's engineering room, which hopefully is looking a bit interesting as well, because the CGI engine room was a bit weird. I'm gonna admit. Hopefully, it's a set built for that. And we have been seeing, in terms of Strange New Worlds, filming is about to get underway because we're seeing these stars return to Pinewood, etc. And also, set pictures and details are leaking out. We're not going to show you, etc. However, if you know where to find them, you know where to find them. We sometimes will share some on social media, but it's privacy of information as well. But yeah, they're definitely gearing up. Sets being built, constructed, finalized. She's ready to go, essentially. That Enterprise is coming to us very soon. It will not be long before we're hearing Anson Mount on screen again, shouting, "Hit it," as the Enterprise goes to warp on Majora's crew. Honestly, cannot wait for it. TJ's in the chat right now. I know she's probably bouncing off her seat, but Strange New World, how are we feeling about the gentleman? I'm really excited for that. I feel like it's the next series. I want it now. I'm a fan of Discovery Picard, but I want Pike back now. What a man.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think that Strange New Worlds and what they're advertising the show as is going to be kind of this big return to form with classic Star Trek style. But I'm going to put forth the idea, we've talked a little bit about this before, which is I think actually a lot of the shows are going to start to try to return to some style of that classic Trek, because it seems like Discovery is going to go a little bit, potentially a little bit more, you know, episode to episode with long story arcs kind of happening throughout the season. Picard's supposed to be doing Monster of the Week next season, and then Strange New World's supposed to be doing Monster of the Week stuff as well. So it seems like they're all kind of like shifting in different directions to kind of focus in on that classic Trek feel. But I think Strange New Worlds is going to really probably the one that leans the furthest into that classic style Star Trek, TOS, TNG era type show of just this adventure of the week and everyone's working together and it's nothing too super serious and it's just kind of these self-contained episodes. I think it's one that's going to be leaning the most into that. So I'm going to be surprised if I'm going to be surprised, and maybe I need to grow up, I don't know, but I'm going to be surprised if the people who hate current Star Trek watch Strange New Worlds and they still hate that. From what they've told us, it seems though this is what people are asking for from that particular group. So hopefully folks will start to be satisfied with that. I don't know, but
I mean, I think you're betting on a horse's bolted there, but I mean, that's
I don't know. Yeah, I might be.
Yikes. But yeah, honestly, I know what you mean. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out, because we well know that, you know, clickbait fuels, you know, money at the end of the day and stuff like that, and views.
It does.
So
it does. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it does make people look like hypocrites if this is what they wanted, and then when it came, it's not what they wanted. But yikes, that's a discussion for another time. Dom, your opinions on Strange New Worlds before me and Nick get into
I'm really looking forward to it. Not only just for like good episodic episodes, but how it can link to TOS episodes and other stuff like that. Like, I really enjoy Enterprise Season 4 and how that linked a lot to TOS in really good episodes, but it was like, oh, okay, here's the Organians or whatever. So it'd be interesting to figure out what exactly isn't new in TOS and like develop that a little more, but also just to get some more Pike. I just love it.
Yeah, it could be really interesting.
I mean, I think that there is a genuine concern. One of the hot debated topics with Discovery was people felt like it was hurting canon and hurting continuity and all that stuff with inside of Star Trek lore, which not going to get into the debate. It was just, that was the reality of the discussion that was happening around that show. And there is a concern that they're making another show with characters that we know even more about in an era that we know even more about. And is this going to have similar problems? And I'm hoping that the answer is no, because I feel like they would not have spent millions and millions of dollars on a show that they knew people were also still going to be really upset about. I feel like they've probably thought of a way to come around those hurdles. I had this theory video I put up the other today where maybe an alternate timeline. That's kind of like a crazy theory, but I feel like what they're likely going to do is we're going to go out on a deep space 5-year with the crew of the Enterprise, and they're going to go off and do a thing, and they're just not going to really touch too much of the stuff that we've seen before, which is great because it's literally called Strange New Worlds, so I would love for them to literally show us Strange New Worlds. Yeah,
it depends where this Pike series, as I'm still going to call it, takes place in a way, because when he arrives back on Discovery, when he pops up there, I believe he's already completed his first 5-year voyage, hasn't he, Dom? Because the book beforehand takes place of that. So I believe this new series, Strange New Worlds, might be the next 5-year mission he goes on, because he's due to go on one without sort of aligns in a way before Kirk takes over as captain of the Enterprise. So this could be his new 5-year mission, which makes sense. He's going to discover strange new worlds in this 5-year mission. That is the point of the whole 5-year mission, where it's to discover new worlds. Literally, the title sequence here: discover new worlds, etc., and strange new things. So that's really going to be interesting. Hopefully, do it. Someone made a good comment in the chat, and Dom, you responded it. If Admiral Archer could appear during that, he'd be like 145. So I believe in beta canon, when the Constitution class was first launched, or basically the plans were laid for it, Admiral Archer was there. He basically, a day before he died, he saw the Constitution class launch, which would be the new Enterprise. Somewhere, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in memory beta canon and through a book, it's there. Yeah, I believe it is. Like, he either saw the Constitution launch or saw the Enterprise launch. So realistic, if they wanted to bend it, they could easily bend Khan to have an appearance of Scott Bakula or something like that. I doubt we'll get it. I really doubt we'll get it.
NCIS.
Yeah, but it would be a lovely throwback in there if we could get him for a cameo in a way, because, ex-president of the Federation. It's, my dream of having more Enterprise.
Listen, if you had asked me that question a year ago, I would say likely no. But they figured out a way to blackmail Scott Bakula to do Star Trek Day.
True.
And he may make an appearance, and they did have this, and I know people like to get in a hissy about the Kelvin timeline. They talked about Admiral Archer's prized beagle, Porthos, going missing or whatever it is. And it's entirely possible. And they can fly. I mean, honestly, let's just be real here. In terms of alpha canon constructs, do we actually have alpha canon answers for how long human beings can live on average?
I feel like really Star Trek treats it as moving the goalposts when and where it suits them in a way. Like, I know there is some hard, and Dom's probably itching a bit to correct me here, but it's I feel like there's probably some bits around that will say concrete information, but also it's sci-fi and television at the end of the day. They can move the goalposts whenever they want and stuff like this to tell a good story. As long as here's Archer, he's 90 years old. That would take the piss slightly. It was he's 150 years old, can barely walk, he's in a wheelchair, etc. It's something like that. It could make sense, that those goalposts have moved to an acceptable limit. It's how they want to tell the story in a way, but yeah.
I mean, how old was McCoy supposed to be when he was in the TNG?
Someone said in the chat, 140 or something.
He was over 100.
Easy over 100.
He was over 100.
Easy.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is it's certainly within the realm of possibility, and it doesn't break continuity. For Scott Bakula to appear as an older version of Admiral Archer's is essentially all that I'm saying. We don't have hard life cycles in terms of how long humans can live inside of the Star Trek franchise.
Exactly.
They just live until they're not alive anymore. So that's it. So I would love it. All that to say, I would freaking love it. It would be totally awesome. I also want Dr. Phlox to come back, so maybe he'll come back. Maybe he'll be his attending physician. That would be fantastic. I don't know. They could really bring some of those characters back.
If Connor Trinity back as Trip, maybe he survived, got him in the Temple Cold War.
No, let's just stop what you're doing.
No, it's Trip.
Yeah,
he lives. He lives.
Here, Captain, I'm the only guy from Florida that talks with a Texas accent. Yeah. No.
Star Trek is well known for doing that. Picard is a Frenchman played by it's a Frenchman with an American. No. I'm going to say it. It's an English actor playing a Frenchman with an American accent. Who the fuck
he
wrote
doesn't
that?
have an American
yes,
accent.
He does.
He has.
But in canon, that's because of the World War III and everyone moved.
Bollocks. Yeah. Right.
No, it's because when they had him audition, they were like, "Can you do a French accent?" And then they realized he couldn't.
Have you ever seen the interview with Sir Patrick Stewart on the Graham Norton show in the UK here? It's they tried getting him to do the French accent, and basically, I don't know if I can replicate it. I would go, USS Antifreeze, as basically Enterprise. It sounds like antifreeze in a way.
Oh, yeah.
This is Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Antifreeze. It sounds like antifreeze. It's just how you say it.
Well, we had him pretend to have a French accent in Picard season 1, and it was ridiculous.
True, yeah. I think he probably wrote that. I don't know if they've done the behind the scenes. Maybe we'll see it in the Blu-ray, which is out tomorrow in the UK, by the way. I would love to see if he actually had input for that, or whoever's idea it was for him to have a really weird accent, because I need to go watch that now.
Are you kidding me? That was totally his idea. With the eye patch and the hat,
it sounds like a way just to piss around, doesn't it? I love it when actors do that. And people say, Sir Patrick's giving up on the show. No, obviously he loves it. You can dick around and do that, why not? Thank you to the two people just donated. I'll read them out quickly. Veritas for $9.99. Between the Trek Central and Ketwolski channels, you guys produce great content, and I really appreciate that. When you have issues with episodes, the discussions, always constructive and no whining. Thank you very much. Myself, and also I speak for Nick here, we always aim to provide a fair and balanced discussion. We tell you what we like, we tell you what we don't like, we get you guys involved. Realistically, that is the positivity of the Star Trek franchise. Nick, I'm sure you'd agree there.
I mean, the only thing I would disagree with is the fact that I do whine all the time. I'm whining. I'm
it's
whining
true.
right now. Okay, no, I'm kidding.
He picks up the phone every day and complains. No, he doesn't.
That's
and also,
right.
Cedric Taylor 08, thank you for the $5. Captain April is the first captain of the Enterprise, and McCoy was 170 years old. There could be a cameo for Robert April. That could be something to explore.
It would be interesting to get April. I think we saw April in the
animated, don't we?
Tie-in books.
We also see him in Discovery. We don't see him, but he's mentioned in Discovery when Saru's with the computer and he goes, "Computer, list the most decorated Starfleet captains."
Yeah, Robert April's on there.
I think Archer's on there as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Archer is on there
for
sure. Yeah, so you said he was supposed to be 170?
17.
McCoy?
117.
So, listen, and just think about the fact that McCoy did not treat his body right.
No.
Okay, he
No.
was smoking and joking and drinking hard liquor all the time. I'm sure of that. So, as somebody who is as fit as Archer could probably easily live to 140. So,
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I think it's totally possible. They could put him in a dang wheelchair and have him, zooming around like Professor Xavier or whatever, and you know, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it. I think it would be
But
freaking cool.
would you want them? Do you think they could age Scott Bakula up enough that it looks good
I think so.
nowadays?
If they can DH
think
Mark
they could-
Hamill, they can add aged Scott Bakula, I think.
I think they could do actual makeup. I don't think they need to go into the
Yeah.
digital realm.
Yeah.
I think some prosthetics and some makeup I think would probably look the most natural and would look fine. I think so.
Yeah, it could be interesting. It'd be interesting to say. I mean, Rob April, a character there who hasn't really been explored that much in Star Trek lore, particularly in primary lore, I shall say, or Alpha Canon. That could be someone to explore. We almost could see like a handover in a way like that. It depends how Strange New World's going to go. I know me and TJ have theorized about maybe flashbacks in a way, if they're going to flashback to certain elements, or like they'll show Pike in the future, then flashback to his Strange New World's adventures, or show him getting the Enterprise. Honestly, an exploration of Pike as a character as well, joined by Number One and also Lieutenant Spock, could be really interesting and how they tie out. The short treks sort of do that in a way, because one of the short treks shows Spock boarding the Enterprise for the first time. And also, Number One is very younger there than how she is when she appears in Discovery, and then the other short treks as well. Really interesting how they put all of that together and place it there. So the abilities there for them to do that, they've already experimented with it. And almost the short treks with Enterprise were a test bed in a way, maybe for Strange New Worlds, and how they can do certain things like that in a way. It would make sense. One thing I am seeing a lot in the chat right now is will Lorca appear in Strange New Worlds? Now, I will say, I'm not going to say this, and people who join my stream, let's not say this. There's some information that's popped up recently which suggests or kind of like hinted at Jason Isaacs could be in it in a way, because there's a certain bit of information if you know the title in a way, which kind of hinted towards Jason Isaacs if you know how to connect the dots. Honestly, it's something I think could happen. However, it depends where and when they want to take it, really. I personally, I'd expect Lorca to more make an appearance in the Section 31 series, Michelle Yeoh, but I personally theorize that if Lorca is like pops up in Strange New Worlds, he could then be like bounded into Section 31, launching that show off in a couple of years' time whenever Michelle Yeoh gets around to filming it and they finalize what they want to do with that show, and if they actually want to make it, because I feel like Section 31 is in a bit of a flux currently. I'm not sure whether they're fully committed or not.
Yeah, I think that my personal feelings right now is that regardless if it's Strange New Worlds or Section 31, I don't think Jason Isaacs is going to be a regular cast member. He may be special guest recurring, but I don't think he's going to be like on one of the main casts. I think that his presence and as an actor and the focus that goes onto a character like Lorca, I don't think has a place right now. Definitely not in Strange New Worlds, and probably won't really have one in Section 31. But I think maybe a special guest recurring character, I think would be a lot of fun to kind of have him around to do certain things every once in a while. But I don't think it'll be like a main cast.
No, I think it'll be like a cameo popping up every now and again. Like TJ said in the chat, Lorca could be Strange New Worlds as your show in a way, which makes sense. He's on the ship, a bit like how Lieutenant Rena or Commander Rena pops up on Discovery every now and again with a couple of jokes, then disappears for a couple of weeks. They even make a joke about that in season 3. It's like, where have you been? I've not seen you, and it's been missing. It's like she's not been in the episodes. I feel like that could happen. Jason Isaacs has not ruled out that he could return, but last year in an interview with a couple of like organizations, he did say he was taking the fifth, which I believe is a US expression for not saying anything or not willing to say anything.
To not self-incriminate.
Exactly. So that's almost like, yes, I am up to something currently in a way, isn't it? Like, take that as you will. You could easily have said no there. And I mean, when we know with Star Trek, Jonathan Frakes is the biggest one for it. It's like saying no, then you're in it 5 minutes later, and then he wears a shirt saying I've signed an NDA. It's like, I feel like Jason Isaacs is also one of those people. He loves it so much, but he just wants to be in it. I really think we may see Lorca either in the Section 31 show with Michelle Yeoh, or popping up in Strange New Worlds there. Maybe it could be a mission. Will we see Strange New Worlds explore the Mirror Universe? Unlikely, though the uniforms and sets are hanging around, so it's a very convenient way if they do want to do it, is what I'll say. Very convenient.
Yeah, we'll see. I kind of don't want that.
I don't want to,
like, I want them to go do different things. I want to see new stuff. Give me new. I want to see Strange. I want to see new. I want to see Worlds. Give me those things. That's what I want.
I want Strange. I want Alien of the Week, essentially. Introduce these new species, or basically take the opportunity to bolster some species which have been mentioned before, like the Folians, for example, stuff like that.
I would say some aliens more in like TNG.
Yeah.
Some later ones, not TOS. Just to be like, okay, Pike's the one who discovers them.
Yeah.
You see them before they're in TNG or whatever.
Linking that together could provide some great connective tissue and really start to flesh out the Star Trek universe. It feels like something they're doing in a way, and with the new books, etc. They're almost taking what I'd call the Star Wars approach to it, where we're having all of this built together. It's connecting well, so you can read a book and still connect to the TV show. It doesn't have to. You don't have to read the book, but it's the extra material there. It's worthwhile in a way. Like, we discussed this recently, or I think we discussed a couple of months back actually, and how all this connective tissue applies, particularly with Picard, The Last Best Hope, the book before Pike's upcoming series and Discovery, stuff like that. If they do that route, I think it could work really well. We do know Viacom CBS have a global franchise group for Star Trek. Therefore, this is almost their job in a way. It's almost like a story group they have over at Disney, and I make a comparison probably too much, but it is essentially the comparison there because it's two giant franchises at the minute and two very long-standing franchises. So typically, what one big boy does, the other will follow in a way. It's typically how the media industry works there. Not always, but there's always a trendsetter, and then everyone else follows that way up until it doesn't work anymore. It's kind of the media industry 101 in a sense. There's always someone to break the mold, but I have a feeling this global franchise group, and me and Nick, we've spoken about it for ages now. I have a feeling they've been established not only to provide like greater merchandise and overall performance for the Star Trek brand, but also connect it together so it flows and works a lot more regularly when we're having input like Star Trek Online, merchandise, so everything connects better, and the end result for the consumer, i.e. us three and everyone watching right now, is better at the end of the day. This may be why you're not seeing too much merch and stuff right now, although there is merch out there, because all of this is still being planned, because we know Star Trek has easily got another 10 years easy in it because all these new shows and series, so it's going to be a bit of a slow burn to get everything operational. Alex Kurtzman and many of the other execs wanted Star Trek on TV or on streaming all the time, essentially. Obviously, that comment's a bit of a grain of salt. What they mean now is we want something on within reason, not literally every 5 minutes. But basically, like 3 series a year, something like that, could work really well. Like, you know, you have like Picard in Q1, 2, then you can have animation, essentially, then you can have a big season to end out. That format there works really well. Essentially, I mean, Nick, feel free to just give me and Dom as well. I think they want it so you're not going too long without a Star Trek show. Like right now, we don't know how long until we're getting to a new one, so we kind of go like missing it in a way, which is good in one way for marketing and business, but at the same time, you don't want to wean someone off your product completely. It's like a medicine. You don't want to wean them off too early. So you kind of want me to go, okay, cool, there's no Star Trek on for 3 weeks. Cool, I'll go back and do some stuff. And now Strange New Worlds is back.
Right. I agree. That's what they want to do, and you don't want to take too long of a gap between, I think, the actual media being produced, but in terms of the other stuff, like with the books and with the comics, or with like games or merchandise and stuff like that, there's really, honestly, as much as we all want it, there's really no rush for that stuff. Yeah. So if they want to take their time and figure it out and do what they want to do, then I mean, that's really, the sky's the limit. Like if they announce like a video game for Star Trek, the brand new game for Star Trek that's not going to come out for, 5 years, like, I mean, we're all going to be still interested in it in 5 years. That doesn't necessarily work the same for a show. If they announce like what happened with Section 31, like they announced it several years ago, and now they're like, no, don't forget about it. It's like interest is really waning on that right now because it's just kind of like it's old. Like people have just dead to that idea for the most part. So I think obviously COVID's causing issues, but I feel like we're still going to be keeping up with the franchise. I don't think we're going to be going a year without Star Trek for a while. I think every year we're going to have some kind of new Star Trek show.
I've seen a hilarious a couple of comments from chat. I just like to highlight a minute. Someone said, I would like a 24/7 Star Trek channel. My official comment on that, over my dead body. No, this is hilarious. And I do have a 24/7 Star Trek project in the works, and that's my public hint about it. However, I'm not going to talk about it for quite some time. So what that is and what it is, you'll have to learn at a later date. Recommend follow me over on Twitter, my personal one, at Captain Jack YT. I've got plenty of things right now, particularly one with Star Trek, which people might relate to, and also help other content creators out there. Me and Nick have been talking about it in a way, so be on the lookout for that. But other comments as well. I think the Trek guys just said, I love to see you guys. We're happy to have new Trek for a while. It's a lot to edit daily videos for 23 weeks. Yeah, editing the videos for last. Nick, you knew it as well, and Dom, you was helping me write most of them. Fucking hell, that was a long-winded thing, wasn't it? But I did enjoy it. It's like, as soon as it ticked over, it's like, oh, but honestly, it was fantastic. I'm glad we have a bit of a break now. It's a shame we're in lockdown because I would like to go on holiday. But, I would like to go out of my office. But no, it's it would be really interesting. But yeah, another like 40 weeks. God, that's going to be definitely hiring an editor for that one. So if anyone's in the chat and wants an editor job, get in touch. But yeah, to follow into your chats there, Nick, about what you said there, it makes a lot of sense. Dom, did you have any comments on that as well?
Um,
Oh, cool. Okay, fantastic. One thing to touch on last is Prodigy, isn't it? Because that's something we
Yes,
sort of
yes,
touched on earlier
yes.
and skipped over. Now,
Yes.
Kate Mulgrew has been doing the rounds of a couple of interviews recently. This is GalaxyCon, which is a virtual convention over the weekend, which is very nice. And she did hint to us, which has also been confirmed already, about Prodigy having 2 seasons. So Star Trek Prodigy is a new animated kids show from Nickelodeon. This was announced all the way back here and officially announced, even though it was hinted and rumored
Last
long beforehand. Last March, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think so.
something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah,
Obviously, we officially got the
yeah.
we officially got the name earlier on, etc. And then obviously last year it was revealed that Kate Mulgrew would be coming back as Catherine Janeway, Captain Admiral. We don't know technically which is yet. I wish somebody would ask her that question. I want to know if it's still Admiral Janeway or if it's going to be a Captain Janeway. I don't know. I hope it's Admiral Janeway. That could be kind of fun.
I don't think have we gotten the answer on that?
No, we haven't.
They referred to her as Captain Janeway
referred
in
to
her
the
as
Captain.
announcement.
It's referring
But-
to like Picard as Captain
That could
Picard
be
or
anything,
Captain
yeah.
Kirk, you know, something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yes,
Yeah.
Captain Picard is
Yeah,
always
most
Captain
well-known
Picard.
for Captain. So that in
Yeah, yeah.
media, in marketing stuff, they're going to be referred to as Captain.
Yeah,
Um,
which makes
but-
sense.
Like Captain Archer, even though technically I believe the canon he's actually an admiral. After that.
No, he is an admiral. Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
so
yeah,
it's technically we always refer to him as that name.
yeah.
So yeah, that's something to take into account. Prodigy, we don't know when it's coming out. We're presuming it's this year for 2021. It'll air on Nickelodeon as its their sort of exclusive thing. You should, Touchwood, should be able to get access through Paramount Plus, as we alluded to in an earlier discussion. Obviously, when we get access to Paramount Plus, well, Nick will get access in the US first on March 4th. We would fill you in and let you know that. But up until it airs, we don't fully know just yet, but I presume it's on there. Prodigy-wise, gents, you guys looking forward to that? Dom, what do you think of it so far? We don't really know much
Yeah.
about it, but tell us what you think.
We don't know much about it, but I am looking forward to it, just as a different style of animation. We have Lower Decks with its 2D-ish style. This seems like it'll probably be more like CGI 3D,
Yes, it
considering
will
the
be.
creators were responsible for that. But just seeing Captain or Admiral Janeway or whatever back on screen and having it what it seems to be an avenue for kids to get involved in Star Trek, but also still be fun for all the family, is really good. And I'm just, with animation, we've seen with Lower Decks that they can do a lot more interesting stuff on a cheaper budget. Interesting aliens without having to do prosthetics or weird CGI. So it would be nice to see, Arex's species like Edosians. We saw them in Lower Decks. I want to see them.
Yeah.
Just a staple, maybe some Cations, just to have that staple of animated species throughout all the animated shows.
Hopefully we do
But
get
yeah,
some
I'm
hints of
really looking forward-
animation at some point. So we got teased Lower
Yes.
Decks like quite early on what that would look like.
Yeah,
But I'd
we got
love it.
teased of the character shots. Yeah.
Before you
Yeah,
say
I
something,
would
Nick,
love to see something.
I have a feeling like in this coming weeks, not that I've got inside sources, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I don't. I have a feeling this next couple of weeks we'll see some more news and stuff coming from Star Trek. It feels like we're in that sort of sense now where it's like, because it's not much moving around on air, now would be a great time to make some announcements to keep the buzz going in a way. Because like we just come off the hype of 22 weeks of Star Trek with Discovery Season 3 and Lower Decks. Now would be a good time to like hint us, go, hey, look what we're doing. And typically around this time of year, between January to April-ish, CBS or Viacom CBS love to drop little announcements. Like Section 31 was announced in March. I think Strange New Worlds was announced in March. TJ, if you're still in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. It was announced.
No,
It was announced earlier last year.
Yeah.
It was definitely
I
announced
think
in
it
the,
was a bit further back.
at least in Q1 or Q2. But like I said, at the start of the year, they
Last
love
year
announcing
was
stuff. Yeah, but last year feels like 10 years, to be honest, but that's probably why I'm getting confused.
It
It's
does,
true.
yeah.
It's true. But yeah, what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
we're in that start of this year now. It's a good time for Viacom CBS to start announcing stuff and telling us more details. We are in that news window. But Nick, Star Trek Prodigy, your thoughts on it as well?
I'm gonna just say that I'm of course curious about what the show's gonna be about, and I want to see the animation style, and I'm gonna watch the entire thing and consume it all because I'm just a hungry Star Trek shill. But I
That's my
will
check.
say that the thing that I'm really excited about is, as someone who is a Trekkie and has been a Trekkie for the majority of his entire life and will be one for the rest of his life, I am excited to see how this show opens up the doors for Star Trek for a younger generation and really just starts to expand the viewing audience. so that younger people are able to engage on a franchise that I love so very much, that we all love so very much, and gets them excited to watch more Star Trek. And it's not just that boring show that their dad watches or whatever it is, So I'm excited so that to see how this actually impacts the franchise and hopefully continues to grow and allows the franchise to expand into other avenues, and really just kind of grow with a whole younger group of people, so that in 10 years after the show comes out, in 10 years, those are the ones that are going to be replacing us because they got hooked on Star Trek now as kids, and then they're going to grow up, and then they're going to be the ones replacing all of us as Trekkies as the new mouthpiece of the franchise.
Essentially,
and that's what I'd like to see.
And I think that's makes more sense. Like, getting more generations and more people into the fandom overall is fantastic. I always encourage people, and this is why we want Trek Sentinel Ways, to encourage positivity in the fandom and invite you into the fandom as well. Just because you've not watched for the last 50 years doesn't make you any less of a Star Trek fan. Let me preface that. It works for any fan, whether it be Star Wars, Stargate, Battlestar, etc. If you like it, you're a fan of it. Doesn't matter what you've watched or what elements you like and dislike, you are a fan at the end of the day. Take on a t-shirt, quote it somewhere, I don't mind. But yeah, what I was going to say there is, I feel like it's a good thing. And we see, again, compared to Disney, they're doing a similar thing with Star Wars, multiple different shows, all aimed at different ages. We've got the animation ones aimed at the kids in a way, through like New Visions, etc., and stuff like that, and various different shows. I'm not going to name them all. Star Trek doing a similar thing is a great idea. I feel like Star Trek as a franchise has a sort of stigmatism in a way, and you hit it on the nail there, or hit up the nail on the head there, Nick, where you said that, it's that old show your dad watches in a way. I feel like Star Trek has that stigmatism around it in a way, where it's like, it's kind of like a nerdy, boring show. No offense intended there, but I always feel like Trek has had that stigmatism around it in a way. So if it can appeal to more audiences, and I think that's what modern stuff is doing, and this is why some fans might find it a bit different in a way, because it's trying to appeal to more audiences through action explosions and various other like writing and technical, things. That may be why it feels a bit different, but it almost needs to do that to survive. You always need to adapt to survive. Trek teaches this as a value, by the way. You need to be willing to change to your environment to survive in it, essentially. Therefore, Trek's doing that. But if we can invite other like generations as well, fantastic. Because if I had a kid, I'd let them watch the Nickelodeon show. Then when old enough, they can maybe watch the older shows. Then like Picard and Discovery, and because Picard's rated mature, etc. So you'd let your teenager watch that. Up to you. It's your kid. You decide whatever. So stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say that.
I'm not a parent.
I feel like I'm 100% confident. I'm 100% confident because this is like the only constant, specifically with like these sci-fi franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek, is in 5 and 10 years from now, Discovery and Picard, for as much flack as they're getting now, people are going to really love it, and they're going to revere it and be like, "It's actually super good." It's happened literally every time. It happened with The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. It happened a little bit with Voyager. It happened a lot with Enterprise.
Oh yeah. Star
Wars had the exact same thing with the prequel trilogy. And then guess what? In 10 years from now, people are going to be like, you know what? Those sequel trilogy movies were actually really dang good. Yeah. So that's like seems to be like the only constant. So like the generation that's going to be watching Prodigy are going to be the ones that are like super attached and really love like Discovery and Picard and Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds. Like that's going to be their primary shows, and the other stuff is going to be secondary. It's just the natural life cycle of these really long-standing, decade-spanning shows. Like it just may not resonate, like you just said, like things change and it may not resonate with the older audiences, but these younger audiences that are coming up, that is what resonates with them, and that's what they want to see, and that's what they're connecting with. So it's just part of the life cycle,
which is fantastic, because if we can expand the fans even more to invite more people into it, it's great, because we get to talk to more people, we get to celebrate the fans we love. It's great. If I had a kid, I can't wait to get them into Star Trek as well, because one thing as human beings we do a lot is we love to share what we're passionate about with others. It's why we're all here on YouTube, on Twitch, etc. It's why I do gaming myself. I love to share what I'm passionate about. And if you start a conversation about Star Wars, Star Trek, I'll talk for you for hours. It's the stuff I'm passionate about. So when you're a family and you have like a younger kid, etc., if you're a dad and you want them to take interest, I don't know what it's like myself. No one here is a parent unless Dom's hiding a family of 5 away. But to share that with your kid, essentially, it's something you can take pride in. Essentially, my dad used to share with me like woodworking and stuff like that. Didn't get any interest out of it, but I have built these lovely pair of shelves recently. No, but it's stuff like that. As a parent, you love doing that. So if you can do it with Star Trek and things like that, it's great because you can sit and do it. Star Wars does it all the time. It's almost like because it's a family thing. It works really well. So hopefully going forward, we are going to see more of that. Quick correction, by the way: Star Trek Strange New Worlds was announced on May 15th last year. That was when it was announced. So obviously it's in Q1 and Q2. Typically when CBS make their lovely little announcements. So I expect we'll see some more news soon, especially as Strange New Worlds starts filming and more cogs in the grand wheel of Star Trek start turning. We will see that one. Cedric Taylor, thank you for $5 donation. They say Picard is dead, Patrick's too old, Disco's out unless it stays on regular TV. Disco's never been on regular TV, not technically. It's always been a streaming service. Its season 4 is currently in production. Season 5 is in pre-production. We know no official confirmation, and that's what we've been chatting about. Picard is also about to go into filming, and we know a season 3 is at least being concepted. I'm not sure it's been fully written just yet, but we know it's being concepted at least, so yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, everything's still. Don't believe what you read on the internet. There is unfortunately a lot of fake news going around at the minute. I'll publicly say this, stating that Discovery is not in production. It's been filming since November. We've got confirmation of that quite a few times. Just because one website removes it does not mean it's ended. Yeah.
It didn't even remove it. It just changed the name.
Yeah. If you literally scrolled up like 3 blocks, you could have seen it. But obviously,
yes,
it sells on the old video side of things, and some people have rent to pay apparently. So yeah.
That's right, they do. That's right.
But gents, we've covered nearly everything we've set out to cover today. Chat, if you have any final points for us to cover, please get them in chat now and we'll cover it. Thank you for all your interactions tonight. I've been through my entire list. A couple of things I do want to mention. Again, our website is back online. You can go check it out. It's trekcentral.net. I would appreciate if you went over there, dropped over a view, etc., and let us know if anything, how the site's going or anything you'd recommend changing. A couple of bit of information. Picard Season 1 is coming out on DVD internationally, particularly to the UK on Blu-ray. Also, Hero Collector, our good friends over at Hero Collector, have recently headlined the new Picard Star Trek Starships collection. I know me and Dom are really excited about that. Not only is the Last Arena coming, which is Chris Rios' ship, and sort of the Picard-mobile, I'm going to call it now. We've also got the USS Copy and Paste, the Zheng He, which is the Inquiry class. Yes, we will have our own view of that ship, but I will admit, it does actually look really good in model view. I do actually quite like the look of it. That is coming down. I will be picking up that one, as I think it looks fantastic.
And it looks really good inside of Star Trek Online too.
Yes, that's something we need to get. I feel like we should do a Star Trek Online stream maybe next month. That could be a good idea, because we've not checked that out in a while. And there was a new expansion recently, which would be good to check out.
There was.
Yes,
and I believe Kenneth Mitchell has stepped down from playing one of the voices, and I believe Sam Witwer is taking over. That was in the press release, which would be really cool, because Sam Witwer, fantastic voice actor. Obviously, he plays Darth Maul famously in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and he's really good. He's been Battlestar as well. So that's quite fun. A couple of bits of information. Star Trek Lower Decks now on Amazon Prime internationally. Go watch that if you haven't already, or if you have watched it again. You can actually do watch parties on Amazon Prime, so get some friends involved. And I don't believe your friends have to have Amazon Prime to watch it with you. I've experimented with Expanse before, so if you want to get some friends in the Lower Decks, go do it. You know, your friends may not be massive Star Trek fans, they might like comedy. Get them into it, because, you know, you could get like 5 new Star Trek fans there, and you have people to gush over Jonathan Frakes with, because, you know, who doesn't want to do that? Lastly, IDW, our fantastic comic book overlords, have released their previews for February to April, including Star Trek Year 5, another couple of adventures, and a Picard re-release comic as well for the Next Generation with John Delancey. I think that one's actually written by John Delancey. All these articles you can find over on trekcentral.net. Head over and find them. Jack, you've got some great things as well. I saw one comment there, but I've lost it again. Thank you. A lot of people saying you come here to like our streams. 26 is also the 11th anniversary event on STO. There you go, 26th 11th anniversary on STO. Is that in February or January, Raj? I can't remember. I think it should be February, actually. But that'd be interesting to check out. We should maybe do something for that weekend. Is it on the 26th of February?
No, I think it's on the
26th of this month, isn't it?
Yeah, because they've got a countdown for the Klingon stuff.
I could swear it's in February myself. Okay.
But I thought it was February. It's the 11th anniversary.
We can schedule the streams though, because like the last
it's 11 years. Hooray!
It'd be cool to jump back in. If we do another stream, I must jump back in there ahead of time and clean up my ship and inventory, because my player is a mess.
I think it's better when you go in raw and you're fucking confused about what's going on.
Dom's just walking us. We're like the 2 old men getting walked around by Dom, going, "Look, you know, I've got the fancy ship." Yeah, I swear that happened last time.
I don't know what's going on either. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Dom turned up in like Nero's ship, didn't you? Me and Nick are sat there like the NX-01 looking tiny as like nothing.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. He's looking all fresh and cool.
Yeah.
The 26th of January. All right, thank you, everyone. It's 26th of January. Okay, we'll see if we can set some stuff out there. I have a feeling there will be some announcements for ST or something like that. Last year was the 10th anniversary. We got some things. I believe there's a new ship being unveiled as well, an Alliance one. But if so, head over to trekcentral.net. We're covering with Star Trek Online news there, as it's a great place to cover it. And also, more gaming in Star Trek is what we need, and hopefully we'll see that soon. I'm hopefully writing a video on that soon at some point, because we need more games, and not bloody mobile games. Let me play something with a controller or keyboard. Honestly, and not that Star Trek 2009 game. I'm never touching that again. What did this last about?
Me not to pre-order games.
We've all had one gaming experience like that, where it's
the first game I pre-ordered, and the last.
Oh, that is hilarious. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching Trek Central Live this week for January 24th. It has been a pleasure streaming to you as per usual. I've, of course, been joined by my fantastic co-hosts, Mr. Nick, aka Ketwolski, and Commander Dom. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Now, we'll be back next week on Sunday at 9 p.m. GMT as per usual. That is the 31st of January. My mind has that gone fast. We'll be back, hopefully, with our brand new branding. Yeah, that's a mouthful, isn't it? For Trek Central Weekly.
That's right.
I thought I effed that sentence up for a second, but no, that's how it sounds. Our brand new branding, there we go, for Trek Central Weekly on the 31st of January. Hopefully we'll be live and ready to go to bring you a new show, which will also be going to podcast format. Meaning if you miss the live show and you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you'll be able to watch it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other good services as well. Look out for an announcement coming very soon about that and us getting it out. So you'll be able to listen to the stream or watch it on Sundays, and then by Wednesday it'll be out on your chosen platform of choice. And any supporters there. Once again, thank you very much. I've been Captain Jack here on Trek Central. Join my co-hosts. We'll see you very soon. Live long and prosper, my friends.